and I can't seem to adjust to it the way I should. Oh, hey, Dragon.
So, what's your final rating for this game?
Personally, like, here's the thing, right? This game initially came out when again? Like 2002?
I believe it was 2004 after being started at 1999. So this was a 5-year development.
See, the hard part for me when it comes to this is just the fact that, like, at that point in time, all I had to go on was, like, polished games that would be on, like, a Nintendo GameCube or a PS2, right?
Hmm.
I didn't have any kind of knowledge as to what an indie game would be at that time. I also was not playing a lot of 2D games. Most of it was 3D. So, bearing that in mind, I cannot give a frame of reference on how good this is compared to the stuff at the time, because my frame of reference for that stuff is way out of left field and in the main AAA, I guess you would call them at that point, game section.
Hmm.
Looking at this as it is now, as in the time I am playing it, and knowing that it is an older game, I would.
Made by one person and one person alone.
I'm going to ignore that fact. For a single person made game, it is very good. I can't, in good conscience, give it any kind of number rating with just that fact, like being bared in mind. I've got to compare it to everything else.
Okay.
And again, this is coming down to my personal feelings on the game, not like anything else. It's definitely above average. I feel like I'd give it a 6 to a 6.5, somewhere in there. It's good.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
There's a lot story wise that there's a shit ton of gaps in. Like any kind of motivation for the Doctor besides just I'm evil is a big one for me because it feels like it's kind of cheesy when there seems to be a lot more thought put into this in other places. There and there's also a good chance that maybe I didn't see any of that. Maybe in different endings there's more, details revealed.
There is just a little bit of Jenkins and Balos's backstory in the true ending, but I would say it's only like 6 lines of dialogue.
And I mean, we don't really get much on like the Demon King crown or whatever it was. I forget the exact term it had.
Hmm.
Like, we just know that the Doctor's like the fourth or fifth guy that's got it, and that it apparently belonged to a bunch of demons. I guess demons exist in this world, but we don't know how.
The crown was technically created by Balos.
Uh huh. So why is it in a human world?
I
How did it get to the human world?
Well, Balos is Jenka's brother, and Jenka was in the human world.
Yeah, let's go to that point and say, how the hell did it get here? Like, there's got to be a reason why. I feel like it's confusing as to why it's not got that. Because you've slotted this in, and without any kind of details onto why these are a thing, and just throwing out little bits of like, oh, this is a thing, that's a thing. Why is it? Where's the rest of it? Yeah, leaving out a lot of story plot that seems like it would be very pertinent to know. Like the fact that there are demons here, why are they not here anymore? Like, you say Balos and Jenka, but I'm sitting here like, cool. Is Jenka human?
I believe she's a witch.
I mean, that doesn't really say much. That just says that magic exists in this world, which, cool. Kind of could have already assumed that. That doesn't answer the demon question.
Or maybe it's just a name like the Demon Crown.
We say that, but we also saw like demonic things wearing that crown in the statues in the one room. So it's not just a title.
Fair enough.
Um, Obviously, there's a crown. You must be the king of something, unless it's some weird invention made in the demon world, in which case that boils down to a whole lot of other questions. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's touched on here in here that's not exactly clear as to what it actually means or leads to, which is like I know you can't plug up all the gaps, but these are some pretty big ones.
And then again, since I never even faced Ballos, it might be explained when I beat him.
Well, I mean, then the other question would be like, what was the island originally used for anyway?
Huh.
Like, why does it exist?
Why is it floating?
Why is it floating? Why does it exist? What was its original purpose? Why are the Mimiga there and nowhere else? Obviously, it was some kind of research installation because they were breeding dragon eggs for some reason. Like the bush zone doesn't really have much going on in there. The desert zone doesn't really have much going on in there. Yeah, the Dragon Egg Zone is really the only scientific installation area that we know about. Everything else is just kind of like a weird cut-off zone for some reason. Why are there zones on the island? Aside from just, hey, this is different than just, metal hallways.
Eh?
But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of gaps in this, and that kind of bothers me that these are gaps that are never really answered outside of like fan stuff, and fan stuff does not mean canon.
But can you see why people like this? Why it's been so well received?
Oh, I can totally do it. The characters are probably one of the strongest points of this. I can see why people would love these characters. At least the ones that actually get some decent screen time. Like,
Quote Curly and Sue.
quote Curly and Sue. Some of them Amiga. I blank on some of the other names off the top of my head. King. Totally King.
Jack, Toriko.
Did Jack get turned?
No.
So we don't even know what happened to him. He died, as far as we're aware, on that thing, or he escaped in a helicopter, one of the two, at least at this point.
Right.
Oh, nice. We won't be seeing the Doctor a second or third time. What do you mean? I saw him 3 separate times. He was a crazy scientist, then he was a berserker, then he was just a weird amorphous gas that possessed the core. I've already seen him 3 times. Also, he's strange and amorphous. Why would he die? He became some kind of energy being. Which also means that the crown is somewhere, just laying in the wreckage.
And
Also, Stu's still stuck as an Amiga. That hasn't been reversed.
And depending on your level of good ending, these pictures and some of the dialogue will change.
Mm-hmm.
So now you find out what all the characters' names are.
Yeah. Malco?
And I think with the Amiga mask ending, Quote will have the mask on in all of these scenes here.
Huh.
Oh, one more thing. Do you remember that Chaba who gave you the upgrade to the machine gun?
Vaguely. Yes.
I told you if you didn't get the machine gun, he will give you an option to trade your Fireball and your Polar Star in for this snake, which is a aerial fireball that can pass through walls.
Uh-huh.
If you would have
That, hold on.
spur-
Hold on, that's interesting. It said that the Cthulhu were natives. Doesn't say that for anything else. So does that mean that they're the only ones that were originally there and that the other things were all placed there?
What I take it, the Gaudi, the Mimiga, and the Cthulhu are like the three main races of the island, and everything else potentially came there? I'm not sure, because all these enemies seem to be living on the island.
Yes, now, but I mean originally. But it's also a science installation based on those dragon eggs, which makes me wonder.
Oh, yeah, the Red Ogre. Oh, that is frustrating. Like I said, in the final cave, in the harder version of it,
Oh, there you go. Oh, then they changed back. Nice. So, yeah, that doesn't happen. They're clearly still Amiga.
that machine needs a little bit more testing.
I mean, how did they turn that way originally? That's another good question.
I think maybe the doctor had something to do with it, and like some evil magic. Maybe?
I don't know, maybe. I can't hit
But
any buttons to change this.
that was Cave Story, one of my favorite games.
It's definitely not a favorite for me. It's above average. It's alright. I can see why like I said, I can see why people love the characters and why they would get invested from that point of view. I can't say the same for the story, with there being so many gaps. Obviously, multiple endings means there's way more playability here, but I didn't enjoy it enough personally to go back.
One of the only downsides to this is Nicholas isn't 100% invested in fixing all of the bugs, because I know there was one bugged achievement and it took them like 6 years to get around to fixing it.
Well, that's nothing new to Dark Souls. Some bugs are never fixed in that series.
And in some of the extra content, the game will crash after you complete it, rather than sending you back to the main menu.
Ooh.
Like, granted, you apparently still get the achievement, but the game crashes.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I believe, a machine gun area speedrun. There are like 2 or 3 other things that I can't think of off the top of my head.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, all those extra stuff is pretty hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think one of the achievements is speedrunning hell that Jack was asking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the minimum is 6.5 minutes. Yeah, it might take me a few months of playthrough that constantly to be good at it.
Yeah.
And basically, since you do have your Booster 2.0, which goes in any direction, I believe the first area of hell is covered with instant death spikes, including a maximum boost to the right after falling down, so you need to time it properly that you go all the way across. Second area is you're attacked by angel-like enemies while more earthquake rain is happening, so you need to bolt through there. And the third one is, which I never really got to that often, is an enemy rush with tricky jumps and instant death spikes, followed by a boss and then Ballos, who has 4 phases, all that without a single checkpoint.
Like that seems overkill to me. But then again, I'm also terrible at the platforming in this game.
I can usually make it through the second phase of hell, but by the time I'm at the third, I'm usually like 5 health, maybe 10.
Mm-hmm.
The only good thing about hell, at the end of the first area, you do have one more health upgrade, bringing your health up to 55.
You know, I never really noticed, but when you get the health upgrade, do you get full health then?
No, I do not believe when you were getting it, you were refilled to full.
Does it does it give you the 5 health you've just gained? Or is
Yes, it
okay.
does.
I mean, granted, depending on where you're at, that's not exactly the most helpful thing.
Right.
Because I mean, instant death spikes don't give a shit how high your health is, right? They don't
Yeah.
care. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but
There's certain points in this, even on like the easier version that I was doing, that I felt like was too much. Definitely
mhm.
that point in hell where it's like death spikes everywhere. Use the booster slash machine gun to get in here in this perfect little square circle area. Oh yeah, and there's bats flying at you that are infinite and never go away. Have fun.
Yeah, that was the last cave.
Yeah, that didn't feel fair. That felt a bit overkill.
The only major change between the harder last cave is, since you do have like the upgraded booster, some of the jumps are more demanding to go in multiple directions and then land.
Yeah.
Like the second floor with the bats, I actually find the harder mode a tiny bit easier since you have more control over your left to right movement.
I mean, a lot of it also just came down to the fact that, like, once you got hit, it really threw off the rhythm of how you were controlling the character. And with those bats not being in a set pattern and being random as to how they came, it really fucks with you because it's hard to really plan the attack of that.
hmm But, cave story. Maybe I will do something with this down the line, like a hard mode attempt. Maybe I will play a hack mod down the line, but we will be getting back into Dark Souls next time. Probably.
Yeah.
More suffering. I think we left off in Anorlando.
Yeah, we just got there. I don't think you. Yeah, I don't think you even got to the first bonfire. I think you stopped right
No.
as soon as you set foot there.
Since you said that was about halfway through.
Yeah, I mean the first bonfire wasn't that far, honestly. Like it would
Okay,
have taken you like a minute or two to get there if you didn't fight any
yeah, but
enemies.
yeah, since we were halfway through the game and it was around 50 some parts, I was like, hey, we might want to take a break,
Take a
split
small
it up.
break. Yeah, yeah.
I know we did that with Yakuza 0 too.
Yes, we did. We took a small break there. Oh man. But yeah, unless something comes out, I think the game we play after that's gonna be a fun one.
Oh.
I think you might like it.
Oh. And are we going to be doing The Witness after that?
Oh yeah, I forgot that was a thing that we were thinking of doing. I don't know. I don't know if we'll slot the witness in after Dark Souls or not.
Because due to what I understand can be some really frustrating puzzles, I'm
Hmm.
not sure how long the witness will take us.
I mean, how sturdy is the desk in front of me? Because it'll probably take us as long as it takes for me to bang my head through it.
Don't worry, I will be racking my brain with you so we can keep pushing forward.
Oh boy. All right, that's it for this stream.
Yep, catch everybody later.
Bye.